Okay, this video is about literal equations. They are another type of equation that we learn about. We've learned about equations that have variables on one side, equations that have variables on both sides. We've learned about identities. So this is just another type of equation that you deal with all the time in science and math. What are literal equations? They are equations that are mostly made up of letters. And these letters represent different quantities. They are more abstract. Most of the time, when we're solving an equation, we're trying to get a value for x that will make the equation true. Whereas in literal equations, the purpose is to isolate a variable, not necessarily finding a solution. Now, we could turn around and substitute values in for the other letters and solve for the variable that we've isolated. But that's not necessarily what you're doing. You are simply going through the motions of doing your properties of real numbers in order to isolate one of the variables. And lastly, for right now, it's important to note that all formulas are literal equations, like your distance, rate, and time. That's a literal equation. And the area of a triangle. A equals 1/2 base times height. So, why are literal equations useful? Because they help you set up an equation when you need a quantity you don't have. Let's use a very simple example. Our distance equals rate times time. So what if I don't know my time? What if I need to know how much time it took me to get somewhere? I know how far I went, and I know how fast I was going. Well, if I want to solve for t, I have to get it by itself. And r and t are being multiplied right now. So what undoes multiplication? Division. So if I divide both sides by r, then look what I get. T is now all by itself. And I know that if I take my distance and I divide it by my rate, then I'm going to know how long my trip took me. This is literal equations in action. In another video, we'll have another example and how to solve your Delta Math assignment.